real life.
Yeah. Okay. I think it is. We are live
Oops.
now. So
Wait, just a second. Okay.
can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, I can
Okay.
hear you.
So yeah,
Yeah,
no.
sorry.
We're live now. So we'll just maybe give it a few minutes. Hi, Shane. Welcome to our chat. We just tuned in here. We're just going to give people a couple minutes to tune in for our conversation with Anna today. This is so exciting. Shane, I don't know if you follow Anna, but we're just we're just allowing everybody to land, and if it's only a few people, we'll wait. Any other Anna, where are you at in the world today?
I am in Alabama, in area of Montgomery, south. I'm south in the U.S. So it's really cold though. When before I moved to here, everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, you're moving to Alabama? It's so hot and humid." I was like, "Really? I don't think so, because it's like 30s almost today. Like, I mean, it's pretty cold though. Yeah, and I love sun and heat and yeah. So
Yeah. Well, today, even in Florida, it's like I think I woke up, it was 39 degrees outside.
yeah,
So that's
there we go. Is that like normal for Florida, for
no,
Sarasota?
I mean, not that's pretty cold. I mean, it could be thanks. Oh, Karen's just joined. Thanks for joining, Karen. It can be but typically the coldest it gets is in the 40s, like mid 40s. And so to have anything in with a 3 in the 30s is down there. And then, everyone starts to worry about the crops and everything down.
Hmm.
We're not, I don't think we're that far. You and I are not physically that far apart distance wise, but
I don't have a clue.
yeah.
I know Florida, Miami, and we go to Destin down to the beach because it's like the closest point to go to the
Sure.
beach. But
Sure.
yeah.
We're about 3 or 4 hours out of the Destin, I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
not that.
Mm,
Not that
Not that far. Yeah.
far.
So
Okay.
okay.
Well, we'll go ahead and get started. We've got a couple people online here. Thank you all for joining today. I have Anna Sneeringer.
Sneeringer.
Sneeringer,
Hmm.
welcome to my
Thank you.
Journeys interview series. This is really exciting for me to have Anna join us today, and she's going to talk about um, whatever she wants to talk about as far as
Yes.
her journeys and what she's working on now, big projects. But I was really drawn. I was initially, just to bring you guys all up to speed, I was initially introduced to Anna's work through Substack, even though we were just speaking about, she has quite a large following on Instagram. But I was really drawn to the work of the women that she was painting portraits of and their strength and resilience in her themes. So I asked her if she would be willing to talk about them today, and here you are.
Yeah. Thank you for the invitation. It's my first time being on Substack Live. It's exciting though. Let's see where we're gonna go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Well, why don't we just start off by, and if people have questions, they can put them in the chat, and I'll keep an eye on them. And Camilla just joined us, so if you just want to start off, maybe talking about maybe your beginnings as a child, like what got you into painting, or and you can just speak openly or whatever, however you want to take, like introducing us to. I know you have been also a world traveler, so
well, let me just correct this. It's not world traveler. I lived around the world. Traveling and living in different countries is like to me personally it really appears different. I mean, not just to me. I believe to everybody, because it's like when you move to the new country, it's like beginning your life from the zero, right? You need to figure out where is the store, where is the
yeah,
doctor, or whatever. So yeah, I've been a world traveler, but before that, I lived and I was born in Slovenia, and I did not have anything with art until my age 29, 30, when I basically moved out of Slovenia. So I'm professionally a nurse, right? But I never really did that work because I kind of figured out while I was studying that my passion is something related to art, but I did not know what it is. I thought it's a graphic design, but and then by the chance, I happened to get a work in a TV station as a TV producer. And then I worked there for 11 years. I was producing the TV show called See What You Want to See. And it was portraying the people, like very interesting people, right? Which I kind of find now connection with that I portray these women. So that's basically, if you can say this was part of the art. But my art was when I moved to Dominican Republic with my husband. That time he was my boyfriend. Uh, I was just craving some art in my house, and I went around to look if I could find something. Couldn't find anything that I would really like. But I found an art store, and I found some supplies, and I brought them home, and I said I'm gonna just paint something, and that's how everything started. And that was in 2011.
Wow.
Yeah, and I never stopped. So that's like now what, 15 years later.
Okay.
Wow. But that's how basically I got into the art. I always loved art, but I did not grow up in the family where art was appreciated. There was no knowledge about the art. I mean, we learned art in school, not really intensely like you would in the art school, but like you would have art classes just to learn some drawing and, a little painting with the watercolors, but that's pretty much it. Yeah, but nothing before. So I'm very much self-taught artist.
So
Yeah.
let me ask you this. So maybe that with those first works that you started out maybe 15 years ago, because your portraiture work is, in my opinion, not it's 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 quite detailed, and you have a wonderful grasp of portraiture and expression. And were those first images that you were painting when you were just starting off 15 years ago, were they portraits? What was the nature of the subject matter that kind of you started out with?
They were completely abstract. Right? And I did not know what I was doing. I bought myself oil paints, and I bought all palette knives. I did not buy brushes because I thought like, well, I'll just work with these paints that I have and with a palette knife, because it kind of felt like, oh, I could like smudge around. They were really cool paintings though, but I figured out very quickly like that those paints are not drying, because I was applying the lipstick,
Yeah.
right? I was like, what's going on? Like, why is this not drying? I must have done something wrong. And then um, so I got pregnant, and I didn't want to work with this medium. So I moved to acrylic because it was moving faster. So every time I would do step further in art, I would learn a little bit more about it, because I would go to the art store and I would talk to the people there, and they would like introduce the materials to me, how to work with them. And so basically everything was abstract until I moved to the Netherlands in 2014. We moved in 14, and in 2015 I kind of started painting portraiture, like, and I painted men and women that time, but because I could not find a challenge in abstract art, I just didn't understand it. I felt it like I'm painting my feelings out, but did not know what's really going on. So I want to challenge myself to see if I could do the figure, and that's basically in 2015 I started working with the portraiture, both like male and female, and then maybe in 2 years later I just started focusing on painting only women. Um, yeah.
That's interesting about the abstract piece,
Hmm.
because I think um, it's an interesting experience that I was doing almost reverse. Like, I was doing kind of representational work for a long
Hmm.
time, and it was either landscapes or portraits of women, really stylized portraits of women, figures, and some men too. But then I would see I would see abstract art, and I actually there was a year that I bought a book of Colorado. I was living in Colorado at the time, of Colorado abstract artists, and I looked through this book and I didn't get it. Like, I wanted to get what they were painting as abstract, as non-representational, as just color fields or whatever. And it was like portraiture, maybe, or maybe was not. I wanted to understand what the heck I was looking at. And then once I realized that the abstract painting could be so many different things and didn't necessarily have to be one thing. Um,
Right.
but it was funny, for a long time, I was very intimidated. I didn't know abstract, I didn't understand it. I really wanted to have like, I thought because I was very much a concrete thinker, even though I could have, like, a lot of fantasies about things, but it was more like I looked at a painting that was of just color and not necessarily a subject, and
Mhm.
I don't get it. I don't get it. And then finally I opened up, oh, you can just experience this as a color or a mood or a composition or
Exactly.
whatever it is, whatever it is.
Yeah. And I honestly love abstract, and I have an itch, and when I get an itch, I paint, and then I put this, but I paint gigantic pieces of abstract work, and then I put it in my house. I don't show it to the people because it doesn't represent me. It does because, like, if you come to my house and somebody you would see it, you would say, "Oh, this probably does belong to you." It's this the saturation of the color, composition itself, right? But I don't see it. I still don't understand really abstract art, but I just feel like I mean I honestly don't understand a lot of art, but because I paint what I feel,
Yeah,
and that's what is my main focus. It's not on educating you about the art, but educating you about the life experience that I put in my paintings.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. And I think the older I get or the more understanding is that's really what it's about for me anyway, is that I think
Mhm.
that stops a lot of people from connecting with art because they think they have to understand it or that there is this presentation of art in I not only from galleries, I mean, galleries are and museums are definitely, I think, very important, but there can be this elitism about art and that you have to be able to understand it, you have to be able to look at it this way, and I think that locks a lot of people out from trying to experience anything because there a lot of things they don't necessarily have meaning, or there's artists that make paintings and they say, "Well, it's about this," and if it's really not conveyed, you
Right,
miss the point. So I think, for me now, art is I, like, look at it and either I connect with it or I don't. If I don't connect with it, I kinda ask myself, "Why? Is it about the color? Is it about the line?
mhm,
Is it about, like, you know, objective things?" Um,
right.
and I
Well,
look
I always felt like this that it's all my life, and basically I felt towards the art or anything, like if it doesn't really connect with me, that I feel it's not for me.
Yeah,
And I understand there are people that do the art for the investment, right? And but if something doesn't speak to me, I just can't. Like I'm not gonna go purchase something that just because it's popular or it
sure.
has a high value. So yeah. But again, not that I know much about art, except that I know how to paint.
Well, you wanna, talk to us a little bit about your female portraiture and how kinda how that came to be or, um, maybe some of the current projects you're working on?
Okay. So, as I said, in 2015, I started focusing on female portraiture more because as a painter or any type of artist, you're a lot alone with yourself. So while you're creating, you're thinking. Like I have constantly thinking. If I'm not listening something, even though sometimes I find myself, if I listen something, I find myself still thinking something beyond what's airing in my ear. So I kind of figured out that I can't paint man because I don't understand the emotion of a man. So I started delving into me as a woman, but also me living around the world. I've been a lot in these communities where there's a lot of women involved, right? So like local women, international women, like yeah, right. And I kind of figured out, like I'm an observer, maybe also because I was a journalist for 11 years, right? That I found this interest of a powerful woman, like how she is willing to do something that calls her to do it. And if she's feeling really intensely strong call, she'll make it happen no matter how. And my biggest eye opener was when we were in India, and I could see diversity of the how do you call them? I forgot now. Um, they have these layers. Oh my gosh, I forgot. Anyhow, like for the poor towards the
It's
rich,
the
right?
system, the what
Yeah, caste,
HSE. Yes,
caste,
thank you.
right? So how, no matter how like society blocks them in, they have to be in the certain caste. There are women that go beyond, right? They go beyond because they know that they deserve and they can have more. And that was like my biggest drive. Like, yes, that's true that we can achieve whatever we want to. We just need to really believe in ourselves and love ourselves. So I kind of wanted with my portraiture and my paintings, because they're very bold and loud and big and like, they're black and white, to kind of like scream in your face, hey, you can do this too. Like, I'm here to tell you that you can. And that's basically what is my drive. And now I have two my daughters, and I see that they are pretty much the same like all the other women. Like they have a drive, and they are looking, searching the paths to do it. So
Sure, sure.
yeah.
Can you, talk about the painting that you have behind you?
Oh, yeah. This is something that I've never did. So my paintings are always just a woman, one woman. If I go in the psychology behind, I think I was painting a lot of myself through these women. My solo journey, which is not really a solo journey, but it is a solo journey in a sense. I left all my friends and family in Slovenia and went on this solo journey with my husband around the world. And I'm painting this woman that went through pretty rough and interesting life. Um, so this year, basically, I started in 2025 to paint this painting behind. There is a squad of women that I don't know what's going to come out, but it's like first painting that has majority of women together in the painting. So it's a big, gigantic piece to work on, and I've been working now almost 2 months on it. Didn't move that far. It's really intimidating though, because there's so many different characters in the painting, and when I paint, it's very intuitively. I don't sketch before. I just let it come out, whatever it's coming out for me.
Sure,
Yeah. Yeah.
sure. If you could talk about, this has always been really intriguing for me, not always, but it's when I've been looking at your work and
Mhm.
the circle on the face. And that's intriguing to me for one, and two, it's um I've done that a couple times, and I just find that interesting just as a connection, like, not to your extent, but I find those very curious if you wanna
The
talk.
circle, well, so the circle happened to be a mistake. Once I was in the Netherlands, I was painting with watercolors, and the drop of water with the color dropped on the cheek of the woman. And I kind of figured out, whoa, this looks kind of would be great in this composition. And the more and more I would paint them, right, they would start appearing in my portraits. I figured out that circle represents this unity for me, um, which we have inside of us. Like it's for our own success. We are responsible for it. Like we say it, but if we don't bring it in and digest it, it's not gonna happen, right? So it kind of represents this unity and strength of, and its continuation, right? So I kind of incorporated that in 2015, and it stayed there. And now, when I don't put a circle on, it just looks like my woman's not there. Like it's not fulfilled.
Yeah,
But yeah, and probably it's also just I wanted to have something that it's recognizable mine.
yeah.
Right.
It definitely is a really, powerful, stylistic component, I would say. Um, the women that you have in the painting now behind you, will you be adding any more, or do you think is
Yeah. Well, I had first idea to put 12 women. There was, so I'm not religious, but I grew up religious, but I'm not anymore. Um, the Last Supper, right, was always like very interesting, or painting or whatever was like, whatever would I be connected to it. So I kind of wanted to put some gathering together of 12 women, but there is 11 of them, and I know why, because back in Slovenia I have 11 really good friends.
Mm.
So they're like, as I said, I paint intuitively, and when I was placing them in, there was no place for the 12 to put her in. So I just, left 11. And when I'm like thinking, why is there only 11? Why I cannot put the 12th in? I mean, I could if I wanted to, but like
Mm.
this intense desire is to leave 11. And then it's like, oh, maybe that's the reason why. Because like I have these 11 friends that we are really nice and connected still after so many years, after almost 30 years being friends. Mm.
Sure, sure.
Mhm.
Um, what would you say is your biggest challenge right now as being a professional artist?
My biggest challenge is, of course, having the time, because I'm a mom to still two young kids. I mean, they're 13 and 8. But apart from that, it's I think it's all this social media where we need to be present, but it's taking time away also from you to really do yourself, and it just feels like if you don't have an assistant that helps you find the galleries, post on your social media or whatever, it just feels like so overwhelming that you can't just devote yourself to your craft, you know?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, it's this juggle of business and creating. Uh, but,
yeah.
I mean, I've been doing that for a long time. I did it for, let's say now for 15 years. And it's been successful though. I don't know how I did, but I did it.
Sure,
Yes.
sure. Do you have specific galleries near where you live that you work with, or nationally, internationally?
I moved to the US in 2022, so it's kind of still, well, now it's going to be the fourth year. It's getting better, but at the beginning it was really hard to find any galleries. Not just because I couldn't find them, it was more me having this mindset, oh my gosh, now I'm in a new country. I'm starting from the beginning.
Mm.
It's this integration to the new market. And I've shown before in the US, and I still show with the gallery from Arkansas, in Little Rock. Um, but I've never really went to beyond that. I didn't go to Miami or to California or wherever, right? And I still don't do it, and maybe I should. I mean, I know I should, right? Um, it's I do show. I organize my own shows. That's how I found it that it works for me. I had not last year. I took a break from showing. I showed like in a group shows, but not like as a solo show.
Mm.
But the year before, I had a really successful solo show here in Montgomery, which like really surprised me. I thought it's gonna be like crickets, but it wasn't. So, and I was like a really new person here, and there
Yeah,
was like really nice outcome. Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Um, what I just wanted. Um,
I think there was some question here.
oh,
Have you considered American perspectives? What is that American perspectives? Do you know?
show me, Alexi. I don't know what she is referring to. Alexi, what are you referring to when you state have you considered American perspectives? If she's still on, maybe she can clarify that question a little bit.
Mhm.
Um, I think that's what that always is the biggest challenge, I think, for artists, fine artists, or what. If you're making work, it's like we just want to make the work. We just want to.
Mhm.
Most people I know just want to make the work, and then you can have the greatest work in the world, but if you don't have anybody that can represent you, or you don't have anyone who can go to work for you, if you can't,
Yeah.
even if you can find a gallery, well, that it depends if people are really still going to galleries to buy work. I think they do. I think, but I'm not sure as much as what the younger generations, if there's again all this living in this digital age and everything is on this machine in
Mhm.
front of us.
Well, I believe that there is a lot of people still going to the galleries and to the art markets, like art fairs. I was just last year in Paris at the Urban Art Fair. I had exhibition there. Um, there was so many people, like, and they were like, and you could see the work was being purchased. And I'm sure, I don't know if you go to the Miami Art Basel, you could see there is so much interest. And I honestly believe that in person showing your art is like way different than what is in online. Here, whatever you see, it's maybe okay, but if you step in front of this painting, it's different. It's the different energy. It's the different scale. It's like, yeah, and it's really amazing if you could to show in person. That's like brilliant. So I do know that this 2026 is I'm gonna show again. I just don't know yet. No, don't know where it's gonna happen again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So besides the painting you're working on behind you, do you work on multiple projects at one time, or do you just like to dedicate your time to one painting?
I usually work just on one painting, and I work in series. So I would like release series in June, but it was a little bit consuming for me last year, and I just want to give myself a break from series. So I just want to create what I want to create at the moment, and that's this painting, because I knew it's going to take me several months, which is not going to allow me to like work on the other works. Just because it's not just being in a studio, it's also living, living. And I like to write, and it's not that. I also play tennis, and I also like having life apart. So um, it's yeah, I usually work on one painting, but I also have a merchandise shop that I work. I put some of my paintings or like a lot of sketches on the t-shirts and sweatshirts, and then I that's my other business that I work with as well.
Sure. Okay. So I think that's a great idea. So what I'm going to do before, I mean, everybody who's watching this live today, they'll see this, but before I actually this recorded conversation, I'd like you to send me those links so that people, if they want to purchase some of your clothing items, I've seen them, like you have these jackets and the t-shirts. You got a lot
Yeah.
of really, really cool items. So um, when this comes out as a publication or a blog post, I would love to include, and I can get those from you when we're done talking
Mhm.
today. So this maybe I'll post this, what is today? Monday. Maybe I'll post this on Wednesday or Thursday, give you some time to send that stuff. But,
Mhm. But
uh,
can I ask you, what do you find like the most challenging as an artist? And like, because you've been in Sarasota for a long time, right?
in Sarasota for about, almost 10 years, and
Right.
before that, I was in Colorado for, like, 20.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Right. So, but would you see that the people are still interested in physical, like in person to see the art and
Y
yeah.
yeah, yes, I would agree. I think, the last year or so, I think I've seen people, pull back, and a lot of the interior designers that I would make these, paintings for have said that, um, again, like these large scale paintings, the one behind me is a little bit small for the paintings I typically make,
Mhm.
but large scale paintings tend to be more luxury items for people who are buying
Mhm.
large pieces for their home. And a lot, like I was saying, a lot of the designers just saw people tightening their purse strings a bit this last calendar year, and
Mhm.
just kind of waiting to see what's going to happen with the economy before moving in, or people like, I'm waiting, I'm waiting, I'm waiting. So,
Yeah.
and the biggest, yeah, I see. I mean, I think people have a real love for art and they want to see it and they want to interact with it. Um, it's always
Affordability, maybe.
affordability, I think, is one thing, and again, some people I think might think that the artwork is not accessible, so they don't even try, and they'll just go
Mhm.
to like a decoration store and buy something to decorate the walls versus investing something in something that you connect to and
Mhm.
that has a deeper meaning. And like, oh, there was I used to do a bunch of commissions and I still do, but it's like when people hire me to make a painting specifically for them, even if it's abstract, but it includes something about them or something about their family history, or something where it's their personality is somewhat in the painting. That's something I've really enjoyed doing as well, but I don't know, I'm constantly trying to shake it up. Like, I wasn't in galleries for a while, and now I'm like, "Well, maybe I'll kinda see if I can sneak back into one or see if there's one that might be a good fit for me." Um, but
But
it
I think it's really brilliant to have a gallery. It's just because it brings different eyes to your art.
Yeah,
You could do it just as much as you can. And like, I believe strongly in this that you cannot go far alone. You know,
agreed.
it's amazing to work alone but you really can't because it's hard. You have to have a companions to help
Yeah,
you put it
yeah.
through.
I think too, there's the other issue of that a really, really dear girlfriend of mine and I have had this discussion is that sometimes too, doesn't happen all the time, but then the galleries start directing, maybe this isn't up to you, they start to direct the way they want your work to go. And, at least
Mhm.
she and I have had that experience, and then you just have to grapple with, do you wanna make art for like, who are you making art for? Are you making art for yourself and it happens to sell? Fantastic. Maybe it's a mix of both. Maybe you're making some art to satisfy a client, and then you make art to satisfy yourself, and sometimes I have
Mhm.
categories for that, but,
But when you said that, it's so interesting because I started painting for myself, and I painted years and years just for myself. Didn't even like really push into, hey, this is for everybody else. And then in 2020, I opened the business because like I would paint a painting and I would have people, hey, can I buy? Right?
yeah,
And like, okay, this is now becoming a business. But then also my mindset shift, and it's like, oh, now I gotta kind of paint for what people like, but it
yeah,
was really not making me happy,
right,
right?
right.
And just basically recently, like last year, I was like, okay, it's not working because like people don't feel they feel that it's not what you want to put out.
Yeah,
And then they really don't connect. Like this painting, like I have so many people like already asking if they're gonna be prints because I usually don't do prints. Um, but I don't know what am I going to do with this. But it's like because I'm doing this for me. Like I'm doing to work on what I need to put out. Not that the other paintings I don't like. I've got all this collection that I painted last year. It's also for me, but I had deeply somewhere in my mind as well. This maybe somebody else is gonna like that, right?
yeah,
So that it gives different vibe, so
yeah,
lives with a different energy.
yeah.
So.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
Mm.
Um, and I've been up like this last year, I don't know if you ever do this, maybe not, but, some of the paintings that I've made that are like 4 or 5 years old, maybe,
Mhm.
and if they haven't found a buyer yet, then I'll bring them back out and I'll rework them, or
Mhm.
I might paint over the whole thing, or I might use some of it and, um, again, like this year, I don't have a ton of work. Actually, I've been able to get rid of a lot of it, but I still have dozens of pieces that I'm like, "These pieces need a home," and so I'm just trying to rework pieces and give some new life to them and present them to the public through social media or Substack or
Mhm.
possibly this new gallery, and because once I make the painting, I wanna let go of it. I don't make even though, like, I'm making the artwork, then the process is for me, and it's a magical zone, like, I don't know if that happens to you when you start painting, if you get
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of zone.
Yeah. No, definitely. I completely understand you. I don't pull my work back to rework. I have desire to like ruin it or something, like just knock it off. But then it's like, what if I wanna like come back in 20 years and see what I was doing? So I kind of put it in a storage,
Yeah,
right? And just like lock it there, forget about it that it exists, right?
yeah,
And I believe there is like every artist has like tons of the art that we once upon thought like, oh, this is so good. And I think with every painting we are just like making ourselves being better. Like I still take like classes to perfect my skills, and are just like to see the different composition. um it's interesting. I would take the classes and I was like, oh, why am I doing this? Why am I learning this? Like, I'm not gonna like nobody's gonna tell me how to paint. But then I find myself eventually like using exactly what I was learning there.
sure,
Like,
sure,
yeah. So
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's good. Like, I mean, if you feel like reworking and finding people, finding customers for your work, that's amazing. Like, you know, everybody wants that. I want also everybody to buy my art, but I just know it's not gonna happen. And sometimes it happens that painting 5 years old sells today, right?
Yeah. Yeah. 'Cause it found its person, I think sometimes.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it was the time for the person to come along and buy it, you know. And
Yeah.
sometimes when you think the painting is going to be like, oh, this is so good, this is going to sell, it's like nothing.
And it just sit I've had that too, where I like my favorite paintings will just sit forever. I'm like, "How," like, I think that's the
What's wrong with people?
yeah,
Why they
yeah.
don't see this is so good?
I don't know. Well, is there anything else you wanna close with or any other, projects that you're working on besides the one behind you or anything else you wanna promote today?
Nothing really though. It's like I'm just taking it very slow this year. So far I've been always working very fast and very prolific, but now I want to like do it slow, and I really want to connect back to my art. So, I yeah, follow my Substack or my Instagram where I post the progress of this painting. And I like to write about the woman power. So that's, you can find on my Substack, Resilient Woman. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. Well,
Thank you
Anna,
so much. Laurie.
so much for your time today. And again, for those of you, thank you all for tuning in and spending this live time with us. You'll be able to see the post will come out through basically Anna's page and my page in a couple days, and then there'll be all the included links where you can go to see her work, where you can see where her work is being shown, and if you would like to purchase any of her basically fine art goods or artwork on shirts and clothing, there'll be a link there in the post. But thanks so much for your time today. And thanks to everyone who's tuned in. And until next time, and we can do a follow up and maybe later this year. And if
Yeah,
the painting gets, when the painting moves along,
yes, right. Well, thank you so much. It was my pleasure.
you're welcome. Thanks to everybody. Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.